Disclaimer: anyone mentioned or any post mentioned will be unidentifiable. They are mentioned to show that this is happening in the fandom and that it is causing problems and harm to others. Please do not try to go out of your way to find or attack anyone mentioned or any post mentioned in this video. This video is just to bring attention to the toxicity within the house community. It is not a good idea to fight fire with fire. Hey guys, the name is Trippy. Today I'd like to talk about a very big issue in the Owl House community. Are there other issues other than this one? Yes, of course. However, this one is one of the biggest, as it's the one leading to the fandom's downfall, and it's becoming more and more toxic with each day from what I'm seeing. The term stan means an obsessive fan of a celebrity, or in this case, a show. In the Owl House fandom, you'd expect Owl House stans to be the ones who analyze every little frames, make theories, AUs, etc. But no. Owl House stans are the ones who gatekeep what you can like, what type of AU you can make, how you can interpret the vague story, the works. This is an attack on any specific stan, mind you. This is me getting on a speakerphone and yelling to the fandom to get its shit together. Also, I just want to say before we get to the talking points, I don't have against Owl House stans for not analyzing the show. It's perfectly fine to be a casual fan and just enjoying it casually, or just not wanting to analyze it. The main problem comes in when Owl House stans think that despite the fact that they haven't analyzed the show, and that they don't have as much knowledge on the show as those who have analyzed it, they act like they know everything they say is right, everything they say is correct, and everything the people who analyze it say is wrong, because people who analyze it have actually noticed flaws in the show. This section will have to be broken up into separate parts, because it's that wild, like holy shit. But here we will focus on the community / fandom side in this part. I've seen countless times when Owl House stans have gotten butthurt because someone have dared to give Bellows, who's the main antagonist of the series, a backstory, even though the show itself has hinted at him having a complex backstory and lore up until the finale, where it was just thrown out of the window. But no, the Owl House fans just think that's just too much. It's to the point they run multiple people off platforms. It's one thing not liking something that's very random and baseless, and simply not interacting with it. But to not only harass someone and send the death threats to them, yes, I've heard of that happening to people as well, and to do it to the point you run someone off the platform? Seriously? Not once do you think you're going too far? As mentioned in the previous point, the stand's main targets are pretty much Bellas enjoyers, within our fandom at least. And the stands have some double standards up their sleeves, as they always claim that Bellas enjoys whoopify Bellows and villainize the main cast. In reality, they don't whoopify him, they just make him morally grey. Some also do redeem him, but they still make him morally grey. They keep his flaws. They also don't villainize the main cast, they just make their faults be acknowledged, and they also make them morally great because, well, they're people. And ironically, this is what Owl House stans do, but in reverse. They whoopify the main cast / any of the characters that Stan is fixated on and make them out to be a pure, innocent angel and just pins the blame on someone else, most often either Bellows, Odalia, or Kikimora, and makes Bellows, Kiki, and Odalia to be the most evil, cruel beings imaginable. I mentioned those three because I've seen those three be the ones in the villain roles the most out of anyone else. Owl House stands for some reason feel the need to control and gatekeep whatever goes on in the fandom. Some examples of this are: you get an idea for an AU, you work on it for months, you're passionate about it. Finally, you decide to share it with the world. But then, some Owl House stan decides that the way you portrayed Luz and King's friendship is incorrect to how they think it should be, despite the fact that it's an AU. They try and expose you for whatever they think will work. Maybe even call you a pro/com shipper if they see fit. If you dare to suggest there's a reason for any of the villains' behavior. Bellows, Kiki was proven to have a reason, aka her toxic family, Odalia, etc. They will thrash you, call you an enabler, and yada yada, like they do every single time. Why? How should I know? I'm just a guy making a YouTube video who wants to finally not feel anxious in the goddamn fandom I'm a part of. All I know is the amount of control that Owl House stans have in the fandom is not good. Like, it's to the point that people who want to actually focus on lore had to make their own circle in the fandom. I don't think that happens very often when the lore-focused people just aren't welcome in the fandom they're a part of. Owl House stans refuse to acknowledge any flaws within the Owl House show, almost as if admitting something has flaws means you're saying it's bad, or like you're insulting the creators, when no. I won't get into the technicalities of proper criticism versus non-proper criticism, but that's what you get into when you make a show for the public anyway. You have to be prepared for criticism, for people to critique your show, people to say, hey, I don't like this, or hey, your show isn't very good, especially if such show isn't very good. You're allowed to like something and admit it has faults. You're allowed to like something that is overall flawed. How do you think that I'm still in the fandom and making this video? I'm admitting the fandom has faults. I've admitted the show has faults plenty of times. Does that mean I hate the show? No. I dislike some aspects, sure. That's how it is with every show, with every fan. There will be parts that you dislike. And Owl House stans can't blame it on the cancellation. There were issues as far back as season 1, episode 1. And the crew found out about the cancellation sometime after season 2A. Not to mention that most shows just stop after a cancellation. There's no more episodes. So Owl House got a lot more than most shows. So please stop blaming everything on the cancellation. Most shows which got canned would dream of the deal that Owl House got. So, they put the show, Dana and the crew on a pedestal. Nothing against Dana or the crew, this is just about the stans and their behaviors. and they practically worship anything on said pedestal. And anything that dares threaten it, or anything that doesn't like it, is an immediate thumbs down from them. Someone criticizes our house, or any of the crew's writing, or just what happened in the show, maybe how they handled the cancellation. Off to the fiery pits of hell you go, Satan! Not to mention how they treat just other shows. Like, oh my god. So, Owl House got canned. And as we know, Disney has some other shows currently running that haven't been cancelled. And when said shows get a new season announced, you can bet your asses that Owl House fans will go crying on Twitter that this show is still running, but poor Owl House got canned while using gifs of Luz crying while getting petrified. Like, I'm sorry, but these shows aren't responsible for the cancellation. They just happen to be aired on the same network/channel. Again, what is it with Owl House fans and always needing to pin the blame on someone? So, like any obsessive fan, either one who obsesses over a celebrity, or a video game, or just a character, there will be arguments. And arguments can lead to harassment. And sometimes, harassment can just spawn out of nowhere. The following two examples will provide as little identifiable information as possible for both the safety of both parties involved and to ensure no further harm will come to those who have been harassed. Example 1. Person A once got worried about Person B's well-being. Person B would post Comic Daily for over a year, and in a post A made, they shared reasons for why they are worried, and hoped that B takes care of themselves. Later the following morning, A saw hundreds of B's fans bashing them. B has responded and originally has linked A's post, but removed the link and A's name after B realized that A was being harassed. A was harassed even though B never said anything negative about A, and A apologized and backed down immediately after they saw B's response. Example 2. Person C was in a server with Person D. C was a fan of a rare pair that involved one of the single parents. C one day made a joke involving the rare pair, one that D misunderstood. C tried to clear up the misunderstanding, but D still misunderstood it and mistook C as a cum shipper. C is not a cum shipper, just to clear things up. The treatment Bellows enjoyers get from them is not great. Not one of the stands have even bothered to try and understand that Bellows enjoyers are just villain enjoyers of a fictional character. Even if the stands understand that Bellows is fictional, he hasn't hurt anyone in real life, never will, never can. Stands will still call Bellows enjoyers Nazis for some reason. And yes, I have been called a Nazi. I have had my friends been called Nazis for being Bellows enjoyers. This does happen. Because being under religious indoctrination to hate a race of witches is the same as hating people who are basically the same as you and thinking you're superior. Like, did we all forget the people who simped for Bill Cipher or the ones who are a few years ago? How are you all fine with that but not this? Like, what? So, once again, what's the point to me bringing all of this up? Do I just want to be an evil bastard and bash people in the fandom? No I don't. This community, this show, despite its many flaws, has done a lot for me. I've met so many great people because of it, and having to watch it slowly burn and rot just hurts. So I wanted to bring to attention some of the things that are happening in the Owl House fandom that people just act like are perfectly okay. Harassing people isn't okay. Controlling people isn't okay. Gatekeeping what people like isn't okay. Gatekeeping people's trauma isn't okay. Acting like something/someone doesn't have any flaws isn't okay. We are a fandom, a community. The fact that we are being separated into different parts because the main fandom makes the others feel unaccepted is awful. Owl House stans love the phrase, "weirdos stick together." Then why does it not apply to our fandom?